Hey guys, this is Pierce, creator of Orders of Terra, and I am going to be commentating, and this is post-commentary. I did not live commentate it, so hopefully we'll do one of these in the future, but this is a Orders of Terra draft. So what a draft is you open a pack like we're doing here, then you take a card from it, and we're going to see me struggle to open a pack here. Game Crafter packs aren't very easy to open. I just recommend to snip off the top. But what a draft is you take a pack and you take all the cards out of it. In this case, 18 cards for an Orders of Terra pack, and you choose one of them from the pack, and then you set it face down in your pile, and then you pass it to your right, and you just keep going, and then you do it with a second pack, and then you'll have enough for all the cards for a deck. And so you then have 36 cards, and so you just take 6 out to make a 30 card deck. Or you could make a 36 card deck or anywhere in between. But generally the consensus is less cards equals more chance of drawing your good cards. So we're going to, and one more rule that we're imposing for the Orders of Terra draft are that every troop is considered every order. They did this with Yu-Gi-Oh! Battle Pack 3 as well, and I thought that it was a really good idea because it allows the usage of some cards like Worthy Soldier and Reanimation that normally couldn't be used in draft challenges. And so we're just drafting with Dawn and Dusk packs here, but I'm going to be releasing a actual draft pack with cards that are not like Divine or Infernal, no archetypes in it, and it's also going to be including some of the new cards and some of the cards from the Brave Starter deck, so be looking forward to that. Hopefully I'll get that up in another week or so, and then that will be on the Game Crafter, depending on when this video is getting posted, but from now it's hopefully looking like a week. Okay guys, so now we are going to start drafting, so we have our first set of cards. And so again, this is just normal Dawn and Dusk. So we have Worthy Soldier. That's something to take note of because it can be used on any order of troop because of the orderless rule. We also have Divine Return, which is what I think that I'm going to take from this pack because it can essentially revive any +0 troop at this point with the orderless rule. But yeah, I'm going to take Divine Return. So Divine Return is really good because it can basically revive anything. Now we're going to pass to the right, I believe. Although Ice Rod it's kind of a hard decision, but Ice Rod is good as well. But you just can't pass up Free Revival. Okay, so here in this pack we see another Divine Return, which is again very attractive. And archetypal cards like the Radiance aren't very good. But again, we see another Ice Rod and we see Divine Return. And given the choice between both of them, again, I just couldn't pass up the Divine Return because it's such a good revival that you can't really ignore it. So this is our third pick. And so we see Draconic Paladin, which you can essentially discard any troop to make it a +1. We see Reanimation, which is a alright revival, but we already have 2 Divine Returns. So we also see an animation, which essentially, since you don't need a certain orders of troops, you can essentially add any troop from your deck to your hand and also extra place any +0 troop from your hand if you control a troop. Okay, so we took that, so we're a bit troop light right now. We don't have that many troops. So hopefully I'm looking for a good troop right now. But if not, I think we're just going to have to take another good function, like Worthy Soldier, because it can pump up any troop by 200. Sacrifice is alright, but you have to discard a card, and it's only 150. So in a normal format, Sacrifice would actually be maybe better, but in this format, it's Worthy Soldier. But I'm just going to end up taking Sword in the Stone because it can essentially block off your opponent for an entire turn. Now that being said, Ice Rod is really good, and so is Battle Fury. Battle Fury is alright because you have to have a +1 to activate it, but it guarantees a removal. Then I'm looking at my cards that I picked, and I'm like, no, I have to pick a troop. So I end up going with Lava Fiend. It's pretty solid troop actually, one of the better troops. And then I'm eyeing a Brave Knight in my next pack. So essentially, it usually acts like a +0, and even if it doesn't, it's alright because it's probably going to soon. Because when you don't have any troops and your opponent does, it acts like a +0. And I'm looking at either that or Sparker. But I believe that I took the Brave Knight. Now we're going back to the pack with the Worthy Soldier. I'm looking at it and I'm saying that's pretty good because it can pump up any troop by 200. I am troop light, but there aren't really any good troops in this pack, so I think I'm just going to have to take the Worthy Soldier. Just looking through one last time to make sure that there's nothing else that I can take. So now we're on to our next pack, and in this pack, kind of looking at the troops in here. Again, there aren't really any good troops left. So we have not really too much good stuff here. We have a Radiant Monarch, but again, we aren't playing archetypes. There are archetypes, but you'd have to assemble quite a lot of them to be, quite a lot of archetypal cards to be good. I was just looking at Radiant Captain because even though it's part of an archetype, it pumps itself up to 450 when it's on the field. So even though it is part of a archetype, it's still a very good attacker. Looking at, we have a Worthy Soldier, we have a Lava Fiend, and we have a Brave Knight for our good troops, and those are really our only troops right now. So I'm thinking we need to start picking more troops and, you know, start focusing more on our troops in the next few packs, because I drafted a lot of functions starting off. So we really need to focus on our troops, because you need to maintain an equal balance. And unfortunately, in this round of packs, there actually weren't enough troops to go around. But saying that, I still should have been drafting more troops than functions in the beginning, even though there weren't enough troops to go around. So Reanimation is a good revival card, and Divine Intervention also lets you get out basically any troop from your hand, most troops, and it's a great function. Although Draconic Paladin is extremely powerful, and we do need more troops, so even though it is a +1, I think Draconic Paladin is the best here. Just hesitating a little bit, but I do end up going for Draconic Paladin. Now on to our next pack, we see stuff like Celestial Paladin, which is alright, but again, it's still at best a +1. Although I do seem to be wanting to invest pretty heavily into Paladins right now. In hindsight, that was a really bad idea, because I spent all the troops from my hand and I put them onto the field initially, and then so I didn't have any to reveal with Celestial Paladin. So looking at our next pack here, we don't have a whole lot of good troops that are +0s, so looking at functions here, and so I'm spying Glory. Raining Glory is a draw function. It's not a very good one, but it's still a draw function, and drawing cards will help me get to the few good troops that I do have. So on to our next pack now. We're still not seeing a whole lot of troops. In hindsight, again, I should have gone for Infernal Marauder, which is a solid +0, but instead I decided to invest more into functions which were already in abundance, so I grabbed Divine Intervention, which isn't the worst, because it does let you field an extra troop, but the problem is you can't use it if you don't have any troops. So I think that I still should have invested into more troops, because at this point the function to troop ratio is getting very messed up, because I do not have very many troops at all, and I do have a ton of functions. So hopefully we're going to be moving on to our next pack soon, and hopefully grab some more troops, except, oh wait, no, we can't. So that's one thing that we're going to fix for the draft packs. We're going to put an equal amount of functions and troops into them, so that there are an equal amount of troops and functions in each person's deck. So looking at this pack, Life Drain is terrible because we don't have troops to use with it. Sacrifice, in hindsight, is also terrible. Any card that discards cards when you already don't have enough cards, like troops, will be pretty bad. But I do go with it anyway, because you could discard the functions that you have an abundance of. So now back to the Heavy Guardian pack. There aren't a lot of good ones, but we do have removal in the form of Time Bomb, I believe, and that does destroy any troop after return, so that's alright. It's a bit slow, though. We see Animation again. Shadow Dragon, though, is a +1. It still is not worth investing in, even if we do not have enough troops. So I think with that in mind, we're going to be going for an Animation, because it's just going to let us get more troops. If it lets us get troops, it lets us extra place. At this point, it's a better Divine Intervention. Almost, because you must control a troop to activate it. But if you control a troop, you can add a troop from your deck to your hand, or you can extra place a +0 troop from your hand. So now on to our next pack. So we have 4 cards left in this pack. There's a card that lets us recycle troops, Darkbone Call, which probably would have been the best to get at that point. But instead I thought that Mortar was a good pick. Looking back, these are some hilarious choices by me. So my last card that was gifted to me, because at the end you're going to get down to 1 card, so you're going to end up passing 1 card to somebody, and then they're just going to have to take that card. So somehow I had a pack of 4 cards while I got past 1 card. I don't know, something got messed up in our drafting, but I did get some alright draw functions as well as revival. But my main problem, and everyone's main problem, I believe, is that we didn't have enough troops, so it really wasn't a good draft. And again, that's something that we're really going to be fixing in our next draft. We're going to be doing a lot of generic troops. So I personally don't think that the battles from this draft round weren't the best. So I'm only including time-lapse versions of this, so this is at 20 times speed, and I'm just going to be commentating a bit. So we're starting off, the left side is a strong board, but it just got broken by an Ice Rod and a Berserk Warlock. The person on our left, which is my brother, has actually picked Darkbone Call, which is actually pretty smart to recycle our limited supply of troops, and also got a Seal of Gamma, which was an extremely powerful card in its own right, especially when paired with a Radiant strategy that he was going for. Somehow he managed to assemble enough Seraph and Radiant cards that he was able to get a Radiant Monarch out, and ends up just brute forcing through the right player's defense. Bringing us now to game 2, which is me versus my brother. I'm on the right side, my brother is again on the left. And I really don't think that I made a lot of smart decisions for this draft. I start off with a board of Lava Fiend. I believe that he used Seal of Gamma to take away my Radiant Captain, but then I brought it back with Divine Return. Then I got out Brave Knight. It looks like a strong start for me. And I even used Phantom Thief to steal his exchange, but my hand just eventually fizzled out and I exhausted all of my resources, and he, with his apparently better deck building and Radiant Archetype, which I didn't know that you could do in a draft, because I just assumed that there weren't enough Radiant cards, he actually beat me. So kudos to him, and then we're moving on to the last match, and I am on the left, and actually I believe that I'm on the right, and I just opened an overwhelmingly strong hand, and got out a Radiant Paladin on first turn, which seems impossible, but it's possible, apparently, so yeah, I just completely dominated this match, and so yeah, I just got insanely lucky on that one. So, I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I'm sorry that this probably isn't the best quality video ever, but this is what I can throw together to kind of hold you guys over until we can get another video up. Hopefully it will be about draft packs next, or probably not. Maybe I'll do another order overview, so probably be looking forward to that soon. Probably the Infernal Order overview sometime this week, so we're looking forward to that, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Even though we had lots of technical difficulties on this one, it was still a fun draft, and thanks for my brother, and thanks to my mom for drafting with me, and hope we can show some more draft footage on this channel sometime soon, hopefully more interesting draft footage, because we'll be using specifically draft packs, but thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.